up, guys? It's Junior. Today I'm gonna be showing you guys a kind of breakdown of my song that I made. I just posted. Crash Out. Pretty good song in my opinion. Want to give you guys a little just idea how I made it in case anybody was wondering how to make these type of beats like EDM, 2hollis, native, tonsor. Yeah. So I'm gonna dive right into it. Let's go. Also, I want to let y'all know that I'm going to be showing the producing side of it as well as my vocal side. I know a lot of I think a lot of the people who watch my YouTube channels tend to be more producers than they are artists. So just to get the producers kind of an idea how I made it, I also want to show you guys as how a vocalist, if there's any vocalists watching my YouTube channel, how I made my vocals too. So yeah. Also, bear with me, guys. I'm also a little sick right now too. I'm tired of getting sick all the time. This is my third time getting sick this year, so I'm kind of upset about that. But please bear with me. Of course, I started off with just making a solid piano melody. If you watched my previous tutorials, I always say just make sure you focus on the half notes in the scale. So the B and the C and the C chord progression, with the G on top of there. So the seventh, the first, the root note, the seventh, the fifth. The only thing I did differently here was every time there was a pause in the melody, I would go back to the bass note of the scale that I was playing. So let me play it for you guys real quick. It's a cool little trick that I kind of use sometimes if I don't want the melody just kind of be have emptiness, just kind of fill that in, kind of, you know what I mean. um but next I added a sign art. It's really basic, just focus on the seventh, the root note, the fifth, scale of the C scale, C major scale. I also have I think Panomatic as well as gross beat side chain to it too, as well as cutting out the low ends with the sign art. I'll play it for you guys real quick. I also put another pad on top of that as well. All my sounds I'm getting on, by the way, are from Spire. I think one is just from Hive 2. I'll probably tell you guys which one that is, but this one's from Spire. Same kind of idea I did with the ARP. I put a Panomatic, fruity Panomatic, and gross sidechain gross beat on there, as well as cutting out the low ends as well. Also got this synth from Serum. I lied. It's not everything's from Spire. I got this synth from Serum. Uh, I like it because it kind of acts like an ARP, a weird ARP. But I think same kind of idea again. I just put Panomatic on it and sidechain gross beat and cut out the low ends. And I also have this bass pluck from Spire. I'll show you guys the preset. It's BA bass coffee, literally from stock Spire. So I tweeted up a little bit too, because I think the sound was kind of flat. So all I really did was add a lot of distortion onto it. So I added distortion, was kind of a it has these effects on here that you can increase, as well as tones and stuff like that. But I mainly just use it for the hard clip, which is the distortion. and then I bring out the certain sound I want with the EQ right here, and then just keep add the distortion, same kind of idea, add in the sound I want, the distortion, and then I put a side chain limiter onto it with the kick, the like kind of trap kick that you're hearing in the track. The drums are really simple. They're just regular trap drum melodies you can find in any random kit. I put them onto the playlist. I think I mentioned it in my Yandere tutorial that I like some people put their drums on the playlist because it automatically puts it at the highest velocity. Um, and then I again, like with all my other tutorials, I route all the drums into a drum bus. The only thing I did differently was add a slight distortion onto here, KHS distortion, to give more of the drums a little bit more oomph onto the track, so you hear the drums playing rather than like everything else, because that's what really moves the track in my opinion. The drop really has like a special place in my heart because I don't know, it just does. To me, it sounds like amazing as hell, bro. Like I really appreciate the drop, and the drop, in my opinion, is like really simple. Um, so with the whole kind of like track, I routed everything to a reverb bus. If I can find it, where is it? Give me a second, guys. Give me a second. Give me a sec. There it is, right there. Um, So I routed like everything I wanted to have reverb onto that bus. So I routed everything onto here, this mel bus. I didn't really do anything with the mel bus. I think I just yeah, I didn't do anything with the mel bus. But I routed the mel bus into the reverb bus, and then same thing with my vocals as well. I think that's the only kind of complex thing here in the beat in the track. But I'm gonna try to like simplify it so you guys understand like what's going on. So while the whole track is playing, I made the reverb bus into a channel, so I kind of made it into like a riser. So when it goes up, you just hear the reverb just slowly creeping up as like a riser, and then I have the stomp here to kind of like bring the energy, like keep the energy going into the track with the drop. So let me play for you guys real quick. Is this something baby, why don't you please come back? Why don't you come back? Just waiting for your dad. Tired of feeling like you know it's right. Yeah, so you can slowly see like the reverb bus channel slowly going up, and then you can hear the reverb that's going on in the track like slowly get louder, which is pretty cool in my opinion. I'll probably explain that more once I get to the vocal chain part, on how I kind of kept everything like more like coherent. But yeah, like I said, the drop has a really special place in my heart. I also kind of like tweaked the sounds a little bit. I think it got the hardstyle kick from a mystery drum kit, a solid drum kit. I love mystery drum kit, but I use the hardstyle kick as like a normal like kind of kick pattern that you would use in any like single type of beat. So like I would sidechain the hardstyle kick again if I could find it. Yeah, I sidechained the kick to the bass pluck that's playing on the drop. So whenever the kick happens, it like the volume lowers, and then as you can see on like my bass pluck, I like same thing again. I EQ'd the sounds I wanted, then distorted it, and then I EQ'd the sounds I wanted in that distortion. Then I distorted it again, and then here's like the side chain to the kick, and then I didn't do anything with the EQ. But yeah, I'm gonna show you guys now like both sounds independently from each other. This is gonna be the hardstyle kick. I didn't do anything too crazy in terms of like mixing with the hardstyle kick. All I did was put a delay on there, and then the EQ is nothing's going on with the EQ. I just have it on here, but yeah, it just has some slight delay onto it. This is gonna be the pluck that you're gonna be hearing now. Now, if you were to professionally mix this, you would put a soft clipper onto here. If you wanted a more like kind of more professional sound. The reason why I didn't put anything to like stop the clipping, like you hear that crunchiness coming from like the headphones or speakers or whatever you're watching from, that's called clipping. And typically you don't want that in your mixes, but the reason I decided to like not do anything about the clipping is because like on this drop it is like the drop is supposed to be like kind of like an emotional standpoint, like if you're looking at the lyrics, that's kind of like all the negative emotions of what I'm talking about kind of appear when I'm talking about. So that's why as a artist standpoint, that's why I didn't do anything about the clipping. But you would put like something like a soft clipper onto that bass pluck to prevent the clipping. I just wanted to explain why I didn't put anything on here. On top of the drop, after like that little section over here, after the drop, I put 2 synths on here to give it more of like a more rhythm to like after the drop, so the listener doesn't get bored throughout the track. I get very bored when listening to music. I need stuff like happening all the time. So this is what I did to like kind of add that like hook into that hook. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? This is the first synth that's gonna be playing after the drop. That synth, I didn't really do anything to it except cutting the low ends onto it. I kept the effects that are going on into this Hive 2 preset, like the reverb, and I think there's some slight delay going on. But yeah, let me show you guys the other synth. For the drums, all I added was just a clap. Every beat, like 1, 2, 3, 4, there's gonna be a clap. I didn't do too much with the clap, like mixing wise. I just cut out the low end and then just tied it back to the drum bus. Altogether, this is what it sounds like. And then afterwards, it repeats the first like couple of bars from the beginning here, and I kind of let my vocal chops come in, and then all my like the beginning verse come back in, and then it cuts out. So honestly, like the track, I don't think it was too complicated. It's just where the mixing kind of like takes a standpoint. I don't even know what I'm talking about. It's just a very simple like EDM track. Really, that's just mainly focused on my vocals and like kind of storytelling and my lyrics, which transitioning we're gonna dive into right now. So this is a common thing, like with my vocals on how to like do vocal chops. Vocal chops are not the most complicated. They're not the most complicated thing in the world. I'm gonna try to explain it to you guys. Like, basically, when I sing a lyric or I sing a verse, I look out for notes of what I'm singing, and I kind of like transpose it in my mind of what I want it to sound like. So, like in the beginning, right here, of this one, you can hear me saying like trying not, but in that verse, I took out like the beginning of like that note of what I'm singing, and created like kind of a verse, like kind of like an instrument to it, kind of like I literally just cut it out from the like from that file to make kind of like a kind of its own instrument. And I've done the same thing for like each different like note you're hearing. That's a different sound to it. So this one, I took it from the time moves fast. So that's the and then I took this one from the trying not, but then I pitched it up an octave. Like you can see, I pitched it up all the way an octave, and I kind of stretched it out with the mule thing. I stretched it out between these two bars. All you're really doing with vocal chops is literally just messing around with like the either like the pitch, the mule, those two knobs you're messing around with, and you're just cutting up like things that you sing like in the verse. You're just looking for like different sections of those like actual verses, and then making making just kind of like your own kind of music instrument with your voice and just chopping it up. The preset I'm using in my vocals, I think this is the one. I was fortunately given to this. I was given this a preset, but I edited it a bit because whoa, whoa, I edited a bit. Whoa, I edited a bit so because I wanted a certain sound, a more of like kind of airy, more higher end vocals. While this one was like the one I was given, it was kind of more warm, more on the lower like side of things. But this is the EQ, like this is the EQ I have for my vocals. You can see I'm just cutting out like the harsh frequencies on there, and then I have another one right here where it's kind of like what I did with my like bass plucks and hardstyle kicks, where I'm seeing different frequencies I want in that mix, and then just bringing that up, and then same thing here. I'm just putting down the frequencies I don't want you guys hearing, or like the harsh frequencies that are going on. I have a compressor. Basically, what a compressor does is that it maintains the same volume whether you're singing like too weak or too powerful. It'll maintain that same volume um no matter how like lowly or how like harshly you're singing. It will maintain that same volume. Sound Goodizer is like it's a maxim like originally it's a Maximus preset, but then they kind of like made it into its own separate preset, Sound Goodizer. Uh, it just makes things basically sound good in the mix. That's the whole kind of idea. Like when you put it on, it sounds good. So that's why I have it. That's why I have it on there. I have a multi-band compressor. Same thing as a compressor, but for all kind of like all frequencies. So all the low ends, the middle, and the highs. And then what's really important is the Maximus de-esser I have, like de-esser preset I have on here. It just basically what it does is that whenever you're like saying like harsh vowels like sh, like things that are kind of like more harsher on the ears, it lowers that high end and makes it more listenable. It lowers that lowers that frequency. And then I think the magic that in this preset that I added was the convolver. Uh, Basically what I did is that originally you're gonna see this file like kind of reverse. So this end is gonna be down here, and then it like tails off. what I did is that I reversed it. I go to basically tools, and then I do reverse right here. Just reverse it, and it acts kind of like like an echo of reverb. Like when I speak, it'll play the reverse of it in a reverb way, which is really cool. And then I have chorus and flanger on here. Just kind of give more width to my vocal, if that makes sense. I'm gonna show you guys the difference it makes when like with this preset, with and without it.
Time was faster to crash. This ain't you no more. I don't want to crash, nah. Don't wanna crash, yeah. Crash, nah. Got me feeling like I'm left out. Time was faster to crash. This ain't you no more. I don't want to crash, nah. Don't wanna crash, yeah. Crash, nah. Got me feeling like I'm left out.
For the drop vocals, I added a distortion onto there, because when the drop comes in the context of the lyrics, that yeah, like I said, it's gonna be the most emotional part of like the song, of what I'm telling in the song. So it kind of creates more of like I'm speaking through a walkie-talkie, like a radio station, but also like I kind of want to give the vibe of like I'm just kind of like that's like my harsher like thoughts or something like that, like some also you type shit, you know what I mean. But yeah, I created that vocal preset myself. I built it from the ground up because I'm slowly understanding what like different plugins do, especially for vocals. So like I love this I love this preset. So like I low key might have to gatekeep, guys. I'm sorry, but all that's really taking effect is that this distortion. You can achieve the same thing by like putting your like your preset on there, your favorite preset, and then putting some like slight distortion onto there. I think what's left to talk about right now is like the whole songs like mix. I'm just gonna go through like every channel and then like go what I have on the master as well. So I have a EQ on the vocal chops to kind of give an underwater effect where it's creeping up after the drop ends, to signify like the song's like nearing its end. But I think it sounds nice, so that's why I put it on there. As you can see with this reverb bus, it slowly goes up and up into the mix, because reverb sounds nice and I love reverb. And then it immediately drops at the drop. Excuse me. Excuse me. Yeah, it mainly drops at the drop, and then it repeats back onto the 49 bar, like the beginning couple of verses right here. Next I have a delay channel on the hardstyle kick. So I have it end right here at 50. Hold on. Next I have a delay for the hardcore kick, whatever you want to call it. To right here on the bar 49, I completely just mute it because I want the piano to come back, and that's all you just hear, and not like the hardstyle echo or delay that's going on. For the Melbus EQ, that wasn't for nothing. I forgot, but when the drop happens in the beginning, the EQ kind of muffles it. Like same thing, kind of gives an underwater kind of muffly vibe to the melody. To like kind of introduce the song with the first beginning hook of what I'm saying, and then it immediately goes into the song. And then I have a master volume on here, just for the tail end when the song ends, like just kind of lower the volume to like stop all the effects like from going crazy in the end. But yeah, for the master, I have quite a bit of stuff on here. I have an EQ, so this is just lowering the harsh frequencies that are going on in the mix, like the whole mix as a general, just lowering them, and kind of increasing the bass because I love bass. And also what I did here is that I increased the gain on the EQ. I increased the gain of the of the track, and then I put a soft clipper onto it to give it more of like a distorted feel, and the soft clipper is supposed to like stop it from clipping from what you hear. I have a Ozo imager on here. It's just to see like how much space I'm taking up in the track. We listen in stereo, so I want to see how much like sounds I'm taking up, or how much space I'm taking up in the stereo by using this. Really cool plugin, really cool tool to make sure that your mix isn't flat. I have OTT, over the top multiband compressor. Uh, it's a multiband compressor, but it compresses things very harshly. You have your lows, mediums, and highs. I put the depth at 15, and then I have, this is like kind of the settings, the bar settings I have for the highs and lows. And then I put the gain to 1.9 decibels. And then I have another multi-band compressor. For just the volume, I put it up to mastering 6 decibels. So because that's what it's kind of like this normal general sound I hear for like most music stuff, most like songs you hear like on streaming platforms. That's kind of like the standard, I think. And then I have car test on here. It's not actually like playing in the song. I just have it on here to like make sure the mix is good in cars, and then slight highs on the middle and the high end. For my lyrics, I think I can bring that up. Let me pull up my notepad. For my lyrics, I can't really say too much. Cause honestly, like all I do is just I think, and it just appears in my brain. These are the lyrics. So, how I get inspiration from my lyrics is a lot of it is just past experiences and past like stuff I've gone through, and I kind of story tell them. Mainly just from like my POV of how I'm feeling, my thoughts throughout the exact like things that are going on. I think that is really helpful for songs and storytelling in songs, because it gives like raw emotion, and it gives a lot of like relatability if people experience kind of like the same thing of what you're talking about in the song. Obviously, like you want to kind of like make things like kind of rhyme when you're saying stuff, because this is poetry. I ain't no poet, but like poetry, it just sounds nice when when the things like are the same, like last syllable. I think that's really kind of it for the track as a whole. I think I've touched everything on here. But yeah, if you guys have like any more questions, or like my thought process, or like how I'm making this song, like feel free to reach out to me. I'll plug in all my socials in the description. But this song means a lot to me. First EDM track that I'm actually really proud of how it came out. To me, like to me, I feel like it's still kind of like on the amateur side, but like it's proud enough where I feel like I can share this and be like, yeah, I made this. I made this. But yeah, thank you guys for all your support. Genuinely, like it means a lot to me that you guys want to listen to my music, watch my videos, and watch my tutorials and stuff like that. Like it means a lot to me. It really encourages me to like make more stuff like this. Uh, the reason why I make these tutorials is because I like to help out people who like are just getting into this. Cause I, like in the beginning, like I really had like no one to turn to, Tai. But tutorials really help when you're starting out with different genres, different stuff. Breakdowns like this really help. So I'm just hoping I can help someone out there make this type of music and just have a better understanding of the genre. But thank you guys again. I love you guys. Take care.